liberty, and justice for all.
Morning. Welcome to this February 7th Board of Commissioners meeting. We have a full room, a little warm in here today. Our first item is public comment. Do we have anyone that wants to speak that is not on the agenda? I see my Rossville crew here, so I'm assuming someone does. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Sally Catherine McGill. Last month, Mandy Pennington shared information about Rossville schools with you and how a solar farm on the edge of Rossville would negatively affect our school and community, and I would like to expand on that. The Clinton County Daily News reported on Rossville schools in a January 24th, 2024 article noting the unique experience our school presented. The school journey is from kindergarten to graduation. All students are located in the same building, although sprawled out, allowing for interactions among all grade levels. It addressed how this created a supportive educational community and the opportunity for long-term relationships. These factors and others addressed in the article reveal Rossville School as a standout institution that provides a holistic and unparalleled education journey for their students. One needs to remember that Rossville and Frankfort are the only county towns that have their own school system within their community. This combination in Rossville has allowed for us to sustain and grow. We are a community that fosters deep respect and pride in our town and school. We would not want to lose this ability to teach our youth the value of community. It ensures that they will become strong community members and leaders wherever they might call home in the future. Excuse me. An opportunity would be missed if our school could no longer provide such a fertile ground to grow minds for our future. I'm a lifelong resident of Rossville. My grandfather was the town doctor, Dr. John S. Ketchum. My parents raised 6 children in Rossville, and I have 2 children who are Rossville graduates. It is not uncommon to have high school graduates and retirees make their home in Rossville. Rossville has many multi-generational families that adds to our school and community uniqueness. As an example of this cohesiveness, excuse me, I can't talk, cohesiveness, in our last town council election, it was obvious to see how Rossville graduates have become responsible and interested community members. The clerk treasurer and all of the town council members, including myself, that were elected to serve are all Rossville High School graduates. Rossville has been doing something right if former graduates continue to live in the community and want to serve. Rossville also attracts new residents who want to live here and experience our way of life. They want to be participants in our school and community. Plus, we have students attending Rossville School from other districts. This demonstrates the outreach and appeal of our Rossville community and school. I would not like to see Rossville pride diminished due to the construction of a 236-acre solar farm on the east edge of Rossville. Some of that area had been designated for future town development. The landowner is not a resident of Rossville, Ross Township, or even Clinton County. We believe there's no connection between the Rossville community, the landowner, or the solar developer. They have no interest in the well-being of our community and its future. We are asking that you vote no if and when the Furrow Solar Project of Rossville comes before you as Clinton County Commissioners. We cherish our unique environment both in our school and community. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you, Sally.
Thanks, Sally.
Any others? Okay, we will move on to the agenda. I do want to say one thing. It's not disrespectful if you decide that you want to leave and not stay for the whole meeting, so we won't take offense to that for anybody that's here. So, you're welcome.
See ya.
Judge Muller?
Also a Rossville graduate.
Yeah.
Just here to update the commissioners. As I think all of you know, we lost one of our court reporters in early January. We've had 3 full-time court reporters for about the last 5 years, and I just need to fill that position. We wanted to wait a certain period of time just out of respect to Beverly, but it is time for us to get that filled. So we just need to get approval to do that. We appreciate Judge Hunter's office has helped. And they've got somebody filling in today, helping as we're short-staffed today, but we do need to get back to full staffing. So,
Okay.
I recommend we approve this
Second.
hiring, and thank you for
Yep.
keeping us in the loop. And,
Yep.
and
Yeah, thanks.
okay,
Brad.
okay,
Yep.
we'll proceed with that and go go forward then.
Okay, 3-0 to approve the vacant position. And I believe you already had the job description.
Yes,
since
we do.
It was previously there. And I want to mention one thing while Judge Muller's here. He and I had a meeting with Tom, and we've had some issues as things change with the courthouse and as well as the annex in terms of the security going forward. And what was it, 10 years ago or so?
Right when I started, yeah, it was probably late 2013, so almost 12 years ago.
There was I'm going to call it the Courthouse Security Commission.
Yeah, committee, yes.
Committee, and it's kind of fell by the wayside, but we talked about revitalizing that, which has a commissioner, a counselor, the 2 judges, prosecutor, the sheriff, and EMA, I believe,
Yes.
were the 7. So,
Yep.
working on that, we'll bring that forward to you guys. We'll have some more discussion in the future, so.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Next up is Beth Keeney with a part-time deputy recorder job description, as well as the co-file quote.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Beth.
I have someone who's going to have a baby in our office about mid-May, and I would like to ask if you would accept me to hire a part-time person, someone who'd work maybe 3 days a week for 5 hours, but of course no more than 32, and so that could help fill in for us when we have vacation time, and so she's definitely going to be off on some maternity leave, and so just would like to have a little extra help. And you just never know when somebody's going to come in. They could hold a deed for 2 years and bring it in, and you just never know. And I don't ever like to close the door.
Okay.
So
I'll make a motion to approve part-time help for the recorder's office while one of the employees is on maternity leave,
Second.
or for however long the recorder deems
Yeah.
it fit.
So, motion carries 3-0. We do have job description, so it's in play as well.
yes, it's basically the same job description as my second deputy. So
Okay.
just less hours.
So she'll only be off a day or 2, right?
Right. Then on the, we have a Plat Book 1. It's a real old book. It's got just a little bit of mold and mildew in it, and I'd like to see, I cringe every time I look at that book and little pieces are falling out off of the original plat, and it's been one of my ideas to get that fixed up to where it's protected, where it would be in a sheet of plastic. It wouldn't be totally sealed up, but it would protect the pages from crumbling anymore. The tabs are worn off, get some new tabs, have it in a protective binder, and that is $3,440 to have that book fixed. One of the things that's the most tedious with it, if we could go ahead with it, it's got tape on it, because they cut it out of a book, and they say a guillotine cut, and then they took tape and taped on tabs so it would fit into a binder with posts. So that tape will be taken off and the glue will be removed, and then it would be put back together, and that plastic can be preserved.
I think it's a great idea.
And you have, I thought I saw an email, I don't see it in front of me, where you have the funding in
Yes,
one of your
the
funds.
funds are in our
Yeah.
special Recorders
Yeah.
Perpetuation Fund. That's exactly what the purpose is, so.
I-
So we have a contract, so we just need to double check to see if you would approve.
Okay. I'm good
I'll
with
make a
it.
motion to approve the contract with the restoration of Plat Book 1.
Thank you very much.
Second.
All right, motion carries 3-0. I'll sign this, Beth, and we'll get it back to you. Next up is Chris Overman with the Mid-American Elevator Maintenance Agreement.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Morning, Chris.
As promised last year, once we got the elevator in, I was going to contact Mid-America and renegotiate the contract. We've been with them 29 years, had a 15-minute meeting with Kyle, and they dropped about $950 off and renegotiated. The initial contract was from 95 with the courthouse sheriff's department. I don't know if that was even in place. But this is a new one. I had Tommy look it over. It's a 3-year auto renewal. And then Tommy's one concern, if you look at the bottom of page 5, is the annual adjusted price. They put it 5%. So we did take care of that as well.
So they took that out, or they
No, they
set
put
it
it
at
in.
5%?
Tommy and I didn't like the annual renewal the way it was worded, so Kyle went in immediately and put the 5%
fixed.
increase as the max.
You put a cap on it.
You were
where
right,
it was a
exactly.
little more open, I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
it was
All right.
open-ended, and not good.
Yeah.
So he immediately put that in.
Okay, perfect. If you're okay with it and.
Oh, absolutely, and we've got a full service. We had an issue with it. They were out there the next day, fixed it. It was something minor. Yeah, they've done a great job.
Great.
Yeah, and again, a 29-year relationship. I mean, they were quick to immediately cut the price.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, gentlemen. One other thing, you had mentioned, I told you I had a estimate from Aaron's Flooring for carpet, and I just wanted to bring it for you guys. Make sure one of them is the sitting room, and the other one was the actual room that we haven't been able to rent out. So, and the price is $21,450, and I try to stay local. That's something we've done since the beginning. And Aaron's has done some carpet work before, and
They
they
do a good
had
job.
enough to do the other room. So you guys good with that? And
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yep. I know you run a tight ship, so.
I try.
Get you-
And the last thing, I told you guys, the residents have a residents fund. All donations go 100% to that. Something I wanted to do the last couple of years is start spending some money, things that they can appreciate. So we went out and got $1,000 leather recliners from Lehman's, again, trying to stay local. They love those. We also went out, we had 100-year-old rocking chairs and straight leg chairs that were convicts had made years ago, and they've fallen apart. They've done their time. So we went to Menards. We got some nice metal rockers. You know, they won't hold water or anything. The guys love them. They're already out on the porch. I don't see how they smoke in this weather, but they do. And then we got an elliptical and 2 exercise bikes for the gym. We got rid of the old equipment. It's probably from the 70s that was donated. So we're just trying to do a few things. I got a couple other ideas. I've involved staff to give me ideas. We bought new linens, new blankets, everything, and new mattresses. So we're just trying to make it a little nicer for those guys.
Well, we appreciate it.
Good
Thanks.
job.
You-
And
It's a thankless job, and you do.
well, I appreciate it. I'm vested now. I've got my 10 years in with the county. Hallelujah. And but I wanted you guys to know I'm still pushing. The day I came in, Bert was one of the guys that hired me, and they challenged me to look for cutting corners and ways to save the county money, and I've done that, and I haven't stopped. So appreciate you guys.
Thanks.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
We have Renee Crick with the 23-year in report, as well as the QPH maintenance agreement.
Good morning. Does anybody need, Britt, do you need a hard copy?
I have one, thank you.
Okay, all right, very good. Well, thank you. I always look forward to this each year and just kind of give you an idea of what we've done in the last year. During 2023, we dispatched a total of 34,173 calls for service. The call volume saw less than a 1% decrease compared to 2022. We entered a total of 9,661 traffic stops, which is up over 600 from the year before, and that's including all law enforcement traffic stops that we dispatch for. And the traffic stops, just for some people that don't know what we do, traffic stops are called in by the officer when they pull a violator over. When an officer makes a traffic stop, we enter that information into our computer CAD system. The officer calls in his traffic stop location and the license plate. We also go ahead and run all of that information, and we enter that into our CAD system while he is on the stop. And the majority of the officers, they do have the opportunity, they can run driver's license in their vehicles, but a lot of times they call it into us, so we will run that and also add that into our CAD system. I'm always excited to talk about our call numbers. So we handle in the dispatch center, we utilize a program called ECATS. ECATS is paid for by the Indiana Statewide 911 Board. ECATS stands for Emergency Call Tracking System. The ECATS takes raw 911 data and turns it into the information that tells you everything you need to know about the PSAP's call handling performance. ECATS can also track our total administrative calls as well. I would like to note that when we went to run our yearly reports, I noticed a significant discrepancy. I noticed the calls were down in June and July. I contacted ECATS as well as the Indiana Statewide 911 Board. I attached to you in the documents I sent an email from the board's executive assistant. It states from June 6th through July 11th, ECATS had an issue with their Indy controller that collects call data, and it affected numerous PSAPs throughout the state. They also had contacted InDigital, and InDigital was able to run a report for admin calls. Those calls were listed separately. They weren't able to put those back into our system. So I'm still not completely convinced that our numbers are accurate. We usually see a small fluctuation, either up or down each year, but this is still a big difference. If you take the total 911 calls on the report and the document from the email, it showed we handled a total of 14,600 911 calls and 33,132 administrative calls for a total of 47,732. The call totals, according to their reports, are down over 5,000. And to me, our dispatch calls being less than 1% difference, that those numbers don't jive for me. I have also attached in your documents a class of service report from ECATS, and what that does, it breaks down the types of calls we receive on 911. And as you all know, most people are doing away with their landline, their home phones. And we had really remained in the 80 percentile as far as mobile calls, but we're up to 90% on our mobile 911 calls. And for residential and home phones, those are at just a 1% out of our total calls. So really, many people are doing away with those home phones. The PSAP answer time report I also included. It shows that 98.75% of the time our calls are answered in less than 10 seconds. This is also a report I have to run when jurisdictional fire departments are going through the public protection classification summary for ISO. So Josh, like fire departments, when you are doing your testing and things, dispatch is also included in some of those, and we have lots of reports that we have to submit for the fire departments for ISO ratings. That helps decide like what your insurance may be for your homeowner's insurance.
Right.
So we do play a big part in that for the fire departments when they go through those ratings. We sent a total of 1,553 texts from 911, and we received 61 texts. Again, we utilize the textee mainly for those 911 hang-up calls from a cell phone. We do get the butt dials, believe it or not. We get those a lot. We get kids. But we can also initiate from 911 to people. And again, it is very beneficial for those where it's maybe in a domestic situation where it's not safe for them to place an actual voice call. And it's also great for the hearing impaired because it's another tool for them to utilize. We still maintain over 11,000 Nixle subscribers to our Everbridge phone app, and we also push all of our alerts out to our Facebook and Twitter accounts. Kind of now going through our year of events. As everyone knows, on March 31st, we had a tornado come through Clinton County. I could not have been more proud of our staff and how they handled the complete chaos that ensued in the dispatch center that night. They were inundated with calls, not only 911, administrative, trying to dispatch calls that night. I went in to help. I have a radio in my office, and I told them, I said, I'll go in there, I'll take over your ops channel. I got back up and I went back out there. I said, you tell me what you need. They were just, I just needed to support them. They were in the zone. I mean, you can't even describe unless you're down there to even see it. And I was so proud of them. That night we had additional staff come in to help. There's multiple phone calls that need to be made. The dispatchers that are working the console, they can't make those phone calls out. They can barely answer the phones and dispatch the calls. So we had other staff that went into the EOC to make those calls to the power companies, county highway, street department, things like that. So, it was just a crazy night. I did run the call totals for that night. During the first hour, they took a total of 111 calls just in that first hour, and it just continued. But, the first hour obviously was the biggest. In May, we were finally able to complete our Silicom hardware refresh for our phone system. Of course, it had been delayed over a year because of waiting on things to come in. So we were able to complete that in May. We also began utilizing a new service available to PSAPs, which is called Rapid SOS. Rapid SOS has partnered with Public Safety and created the world's first response data platform that securely links life-saving data from connected devices and profiles directly to first responders in an emergency. So when someone calls 911, typically, like your before Rapid SOS, it is utilizing the information from a cell tower. So when you place that 911 call, it goes to the cell tower, and it may just stay on the cell tower, and then we have to refresh to try and locate exactly where you are at. Rapid SOS takes the information from location services on your cell phone, and I am telling you what, it is awesome. It's awesome. Very rarely do we have a call that is not exactly spot on where they're at, where they're calling from. That's crucial because, as I talk about many times, technology is great. People do not have any idea where they're at. They rely on their phones, they rely on their GPS to tell them to turn left or right. And when they have to place 911 calls, they have no idea where they're at. It slows us down significantly. So, by us utilizing all of our tools, by talking to them, looking at our maps, both the Rapid SOS or 911, it kind of helps us, get that quicker response and verifying where they really are.
So you're saying when they say we're by the Red Barn in the White House, you can't
Right.
figure that out?
Yeah, it's just a shot in the dark, And then, like, the interstate is a great example, from the 150 to the 160, mile markers run through Clinton County. People do not know. They know that they are between Indianapolis and Lafayette.
Yeah.
Truly, they don't know. They have no idea. And for someone like me, who I am very, I know my directions, I know which way I'm traveling, and I can't encourage people enough, please pay attention because it just slows it down. And when you're already you're not having a good day if you're calling 911, so you're already kind of in that panic. So, I encourage people, pay attention when you're traveling, pay attention to where you're at and, different things. So you do have that emergency.
We've had it happen where they'll tell you, hey, I'm at this crossroad,
Yes.
and you guys will say, this is what they're saying, but the system you use says they're at this crossroad.
Yes.
And you guys are right.
Yeah,
So they don't know where they're at.
They do not, or they'll tell us they're at, East Green Street. We send the officers and, they're on West, they get there, nobody's here, they're on West Green. So, this Rapid SOS, like I said, it's free service for us and it has been a big game changer for us. I know I'm taking a lot of time. I'll try and hurry up. The passing of Senate Bill 158 regarding training standards for public safety telecommunicators took effect in 2023. The bill establishes basic training and continuing education requirements for dispatch. For our department, we were already meeting all of the requirements. Therefore, that was not a transition for us. In December, we were finally able to finish the installation of our 2 radio positions at the Frankfort Police Department to serve as a backup in case we would have to evacuate from our dispatch center currently, or if we have a major event like the tornado, we have 2 positions that we can immediately go from our 4 to 6 positions, so they can immediately handle, radio traffic over there from there. We also, in a disaster, we have our Mevo to-go kits. For those of you who do not know what a Mevo is, it's a big, heavy case, and it has 4 telephones in it. And we can set that up. It takes a little bit of time, but we can set that up in an emergency, and we can have our 911 calls and administrative calls. If our computers would go down for our phone system, we can have those transferred to that Mevo to-go kit. So, again, we would transfer those calls to Boone County. Boone's our backup, and they are ours. We would transfer those 911 calls until we can get our kit set up, and then we can take all those calls back. So, that's, again, just a vital piece of the puzzle for us. Each year, every PSAP in Indiana is required to file 2 reports with the statewide 911 board, a PSAP fact sheet, which covers topics of staffing, training, and equipment. The second report is our annual PSAP expenditures and funding report. And as always, I make sure that those are completed and turned in by the deadline of January 31st. And again, I'm always thankful for our staff and dispatch. It's not a job for everyone. Not at all. Until you've been down there and experienced it, you don't know. And it does take very special people. It's not a physical job, but it is very stressful mentally. 2024 has some exciting things. Chris Guajardo accepted the position of assistant director. He and I will make a great team. He will be an invaluable asset to us in helping take us forward. As you know, we are increasing our staff this year. We're adding new consoles and adding the 5th position. And so we have a lot of exciting things coming this year. So we're looking forward to it. It'll be a good year.
Thank you.
So that is it for my year-end report. Anybody have any questions regarding it?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Renee, you tell your staff an outstanding job last year. It's good. I've called in a couple times. They've always been professional.
Good.
You know, they've always been spot on. They've always asked for direct questions and just done an outstanding job, in my opinion.
Thank
So kudos to you and your team.
Thank you. Okay.
QPH maintenance agreement?
Yes. So I forwarded you a quote for $2,100 for QPH. We have 2 separate air handlers. So we're separate from the sheriff's office. So we have air handlers, one for the dispatch center itself and then one for the equipment room. So QPH is always who does our maintenance. And so they come twice a year to do preventive maintenance. And so I'm looking for your approval and signature for that so we can continue.
Okay.
It looks like we have a few other QPH contracts, very, very much the same, so.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we approve the QPH maintenance agreement for Central Dispatch for
Yeah.
2024.
Second.
All right, motion carries 3-0.
Okay.
Thanks.
I know I've taken a lot of time, but I want to we've had a few busy weeks here this year. We did do mandatory training over at FPD, and all shifts went over there. We did mandatory training so they could see the actual dispatch, the backup dispatch center, where it's located, what we would need to do in the event we would need to go over there. We took our Mevo to-go kits. Everybody has set that up. We're going to have training on those every month. Dispatch, the shifts will be setting those up because it just takes a little bit of time, and everybody has to be comfortable with doing those. So we have those on the calendar to do that. This past Saturday during our tornado siren testing, I did go in at Frankfort Police. I wanted to make sure that if we had to activate the tornado sirens from over there, that they worked, and they did. So Monday, Motorola came, and we did the sign-off we did the final testing and approval and the acceptance of those positions. So we did do that. And then a couple weeks ago, Chris and I took a member from each of our shifts. We went to Hancock County. They have the same consoles that we are going to be getting. And so we went down there. We're going to make some changes to our layout, actually, after seeing theirs. And so it's been good having involvement from all the shifts in that. And Tim's been and met with our company as well, because Tim's going to be a big
Sure.
part of that as well. And then finally, as you all know, I have been working on our communications PACE plan.
It's tomorrow night, right?
It is tomorrow night. So all public safety departments heads have been invited, EMA, commissioners, and the mayor. We will be at Frankfort Police Department. IPSC had sent out a template for a PACE communications plan, and I had never worked on one before. I've completed that. I have a completed 2024 plan, and then in conjunction with that, I have a separate plan for the eclipse. I know many people think that we're not going to have anything on April 8th, but you know what? I don't want Clinton County to be, you should have been prepared when you weren't. When we know this event is happening, and Clinton County's kind of split in half. Mainly the eastern part of the county is going to see the totality of the eclipse. And I want us to be prepared. I don't want us to be ones that were not prepared, because I'm not okay with that. So I have completed both plans, and we are going to go over those tomorrow night as well with everybody, and I'll have the department heads sign off on those to make sure that they all understand, because that day we are going to alter some of our communications. They do think even that we may not even have anything in Clinton County. And if we don't, so be it. That's great. But we also may have we have the potential because of surrounding counties, because the way the radio system is, like we could get busies and we not have anything in Clinton County going on. But we have to be prepared for that and know what we need to do in those events. So sorry, I know I've rambled on, but I feel it's all important information that everybody needs to
Very
know.
much
So,
Yep.
okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Renee.
Appreciate it. Next, we have Liz Stitzel with area plan update. Morning, Liz.
Good morning. I'm not super long this morning. Your next meeting will have a few more items to discuss in more detail. You'll have bids to open at your next commissioners meeting regarding the forest property. And then something new that I guess I'll just kind of give you a heads up, we anticipate discussing at the next meeting. And I talked to Jordan about this, before we did it, but under your property maintenance ordinance, there's some clauses in there that deal with general maintenance as well as specifically unsafe structures. And we have a junk and debris case that it's pretty bad. And we've been fighting with it for a long time. We've been all the way through the courts. And the judge has done everything he can to get compliance. And we've got some pretty significant fines levied, but we still don't have a clean property. And so we're trying something. We've posted notice under the part of your ordinance that requires cleanup of the items that are related, and the landowner is aware that it's a different process than the planning process, but their deadline for cleanup will come between now and your next meeting, so I'll be bringing that in detail with pictures to discuss, to see if maybe you can help us try to resolve that situation as opposed to just permanently finding it. So other than that, I don't have anything, obviously. I guess I should mention, grass isn't an issue right now, but we do need to make sure that we have a vendor for mowing before grass starts.
The same guy I talked to,
Hey.
he said he was gonna do it.
Amazing. Perfect. So I guess just whatever contracts and let us know, but unless you have anything for me, I think those are the primary.
Where's this, it's not ringing a bell with me. Where's this property you're?
This particular one is up on 1,000. It's, I'm trying to think if it's just east or just west of Rossville. It's that area of 1,000 where there's a gap that the road doesn't go through and you perpetually end up on the wrong side of the gap. I want to say it's just east of Rossville on 1,000, but
I was thinking of something else, so I was waiting.
yeah, no, you're okay. It's something we've been dealing with for a while now, to the point where we've been through the whole court process. So I don't want to, the owner knows that it'll come up for conversation, so I don't want to get into it without having information and them being able to be here. But it is a little bit of a different use than what we typically do. And I think it's something we have 2 other sites we'll probably be looking at doing the same thing with, where we're just, the goal ultimately is compliance, not levying fines, but your ordinances give you some different powers than what we have. So it may be of advantage to see if we can work together to resolve the issues for those neighborhoods.
Okay. Related to that, I do have a question. There's a property that's in Manson that burnt
That's what I was
down.
gonna-
And has that come to the area plan at all to be cleaned up? Because I
No,
drive by that a couple times a week.
I drive past it regularly too, because I live, my farm's out that way. And no, we have not gotten any complaints yet. We were just talking about that one in the office the other day. Now, I'll tell you, a lot of times that burnt right at Thanksgiving. So a lot of times neighbors, like, we've seen this before. There's 2 other places, there's house fires that have happened in that same range. And a lot of times, we don't get a lot of complaints, like the immediate 6 months after something like that happens to somebody, especially if it's winter. But we were just saying the other day, we'll be shocked if by June, we're not getting calls if they're not, as the weather improves, mobilizing to get that cleaned up. But yeah, so far, nobody's called us. I do expect people will start to as the weather clears and people feel more like adequate time has passed and if there's no movement. We haven't heard from the owner of the property either.
Okay.
So.
I think you'll get some calls sooner rather than later.
Not a problem. When we get them, we'll go ahead and tag it and start enforcement.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So, or I suppose if you want to file a complaint, we can start it off the commissioners as well. It doesn't have to be a citizen.
We'll wait a little bit.
Okay.
See.
All right, no problem.
All right.
Anything else from me?
Nope. Okay.
All right, thank
Thank
you. Have a good morning.
Rick Campbell with Highway.
Morning, Rick.
We've been working on our gravel roads and on some stone, and we got our maintainers out and our graders out working on gravel roads. And I have some papers for the new loaders. I thought we was done with all this, but I guess I got some more financial papers for the new loaders that need to be signed.
Okay. think Jerry sent them over. We'll get them signed. We already approved this. I think it's just with the lease paperwork, how it looks. So it's got 6
Anyway, that's
signatures.
all I have.
All for you, I hope.
Yeah. So I'll get that after the meeting, Rick. It's a little lengthy. Okay, thank
Thanks,
you.
Rick.
All right, moving on to old business. The first item is a EMS interlocal agreement. Stephen?
Good morning.
Morning, Steve.
This is just to wrap up several discussions on increasing the compensation for the volunteer fire departments that respond with our ambulances. We have interlocal agreements established with Forest, Kirkland, Colfax, and Rossville. Rossville is kind of a unique entity because it's its own corporation. So every other one is owned by the townships. So I've got the drafted interlocal agreements for all 4 of those. Increased the rate from $55 to $80, and that $55 had been there since at least 2007, I think.
Longer than that.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah.
But you're right.
So,
It's the last time it was done.
It's been a while. So, any questions?
So we only had the one for Forest.
I just drafted that one.
They're all
and
the
then
same?
They're all the same.
Okay,
The
all right.
only difference is the addresses and the names.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right, that works. Just wanted to make sure. So
I'll make a motion that we exercise the signatures on all of those. One signature enough, President?
no, it's all 3 of us.
All
Yeah, I've
three
got
of
all
us.
3 of you on it. Yeah.
I'll make the motion that we exercise that.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion carries 3-0 to agree to the volunteer ambulance service agreements that are 1-year agreements and then automatically renew, increase to $80. Yep, okay.
Thank you.
Do we need 2 of these for each one?
Probably.
Okay. So we'll make copies and sign
Yeah,
them?
yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
We'll just, here, I'll give Jerry the stack. Okay, next up, we have the Community Service Grant Awards. As last meeting, we opened up those, and so just to give a little background, we had $167,000 requested, and we have 110 budgeted. So that obviously doesn't work. We had to make some tough decisions here. I'll go through what we did, and then we do have contracts this year to sign with those for each entity that was awarded. So the crossing, $35,000, Healthy Communities, $20,000, Paul Philippi and their local match, $15,000, Learning Network, $12,000, Coach Kids, $8,000, the Sharp Program, $10,000, Boys and Girls Club, $10,000. So that should be the total of $110,000. I know We Care of Clinton County had requested 15, and one thing that we had said is that their requests seem more applicable to the opioid settlement dollars. And I know we had a meeting last week, I believe, and there's 100,000 of the county's allotment that's available there right now, and we're getting more as that settlement continues to come in. So I think that would be a good location for them. So I guess with that, unless you gentlemen have something else you'd like to add, I'll entertain a motion to accept those that I read for the allotment of the 110 Community Service Grant Awards.
I'll make a motion, we approve the Community Service Grant Awards as listed by Commissioner Brewer, pending the contracts are signed and completed.
Yep. Yes, so
Second.
second, all right, motion carries 3-0, so we'll sign them before any funds will leave the county. The entity will have to sign for it. Next up, we have the Paul Philippi Quarterly Report. And I believe there's a second item for a purchase agreement. Good morning. You
Good
wanna just run
morning.
us through it?
Huh?
Do you want to run us through just kind of the quarterly report? We understand, I think everybody does, maybe a little bit about the purchase agreement that,
For our vehicles?
yeah, I think that's what it is.
We have to have a 20% match, and the cost of the vehicles doubled this year. So we went from normally having to have like around 15 to 20,000 for the local match, and this year it's 41,700 and something. And we're getting a low floor minivan and then one of the regular medium transits like we normally
Okay.
purchase. And we haven't purchased vehicles since 2019. And the repairs on some of the older vehicles, the 2014s and 15s, are starting to be real costly.
Okay.
So,
Gentlemen have any questions on
No
that?
questions?
okay.
Good.
So how much, so you're asking for half of the 41,000?
Yes.
Okay. I think there's a creative way that we can come up with that, so I think we can move forward with
Okay.
doing it. Obviously, it was part of your request for the community service, and that we weren't able to meet, but I think we can come up with something. So,
Did you have a question? The opioid funds that you were talking about? For that additional that they were asking, would there be any way that we could get into that since we do transport people from 180?
there's a possibility, yes.
Okay.
So it has a committee that meets. Laura Archibald kind of heads it up, and
Okay.
they're always looking for. I mean, I was just at the last one, and public transportation was a topic of discussion. So I think there is potential for that to have that discussion to
Okay.
work with them. So yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
So first we'll do the vehicle. We need a motion to, I guess, accept and approve moving forward with supporting the new
Match,
vehicle.
part of the match.
Yeah, match, which would be roughly, I'm gonna call it a little over $20,000.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the local match for vehicle purchases for the Paul Philippi Public Transportation Partnership between Clinton County, the federal government, and Indiana Department of Transportation and Paul Philippi. So,
Second.
Okay, motion carries 3-0 on that.
Well, I left out on that.
Then the next item is the quarterly report that we have. So,
I'll make a motion, we
Go ahead.
we approve the quarterly report based on the same public transportation partnership between the Clinton County Commissioners, NDOT, and Paul Philippi.
Motion second.
all right, motion carries 3-0. Next item is Envoy invoices. There's two invoices. It is for design work, one here for the annex and one for the courthouse. The courthouse amount is $6,741.12, and the annex is $9,200. I'll entertain a motion to approve these invoice payouts from Envoy.
Motion to approve both of the invoices from Envoy.
Second.
Okay, motion carries 3-0. We'll just start a stack for now. All right, moving on to new business. The first item is the IU Healthcare Service Agreement. This, I mentioned before, is for our clinic out there that we utilize, and it was going to expire July 1st, I think, of '24. We worked with the city as well and IU to get a one-year extension on that agreement. And Tom let me know ahead of time before this meeting as well that they changed, this contract we have is not accurate. They changed some terms, the term being that it did have a 180-day renewal, and since it's 1 year, they backed it down to 90-day renewal. So we'll be getting a new agreement. So I guess we could move forward with a motion for
Pending
me
the changes.
Yeah, pending the changes for me to sign when that comes in.
Agree.
So unless there's any questions or comments on that.
No, I agree.
Okay.
Now I'll make a motion, we approve the service agreement with IU Healthcare regarding the public employee health clinic pending changes to the notice for renewal or termination.
Second that.
All right, motion carries 3-0. The next up is our joint resolution. It would be 2024-01, which is the sheriff's compensation. The sheriff had approached us back in December about this. We finally got it put together, got the updated names for new counselors that were in place. So I think it has the fixed amount of payment that is agreed upon by council, renews annually. So I don't know, Sheriff, if you have anything you want to add, but we'll go ahead and sign it. Council has their meeting next week. That way it's
Right.
can move on to them.
It has some wording in it with perf, and I'm not in a perf, but I think we can get to that to council.
Okay, yep. So I'll entertain a motion to move forward with this resolution 2024-01.
So moved.
Second.
Second? All right, motion carries 3-0 on the resolution. Next item is the chamber elevator agreement. For you, those of you that attended the council meeting back in January, you remember we had a conversation that Commissioner Ewitz and I kind of joined in council with Shan and Wanda on this, and this is what came out of it, was to put in a service agreement for the county, which the council agreed to fund up to $100,000 for economic development for their business incubator to put an elevator over at the Iron Block building. And so I do want to note one thing, how it's structured right now. The county funds economic development through PIP that then functions through the Chamber of Commerce. And over the last 4 years, they have turned back in around $52,000 from what that has been budgeted. So in essence, part of this is coming from what was budgeted over the last 4 years. The additional will be funded through CEDAT, which does have a healthy balance right now that can kind of drive economic development. So I don't know if you gentlemen have any questions.
I do
Shane,
not.
you
I read
have
the
anything you want to add?
contract and
Appreciate the opportunity and stuff.
Yeah.
We're open to business. We always want to use the economic development activity in our community.
Question, did we establish some protocol that we were going to establish when we had additional asks?
I don't, it's not ringing a bell with me. From just like a general perspective,
Right,
I don't think we have.
okay.
I think that the ask went to the council, who has control over the seated budget, so technically, the funding
Came
aspect
from
would be, right, but
Yeah.
we were, happened to be there that day, and we asked that, just like the rest of what a lot of what we've been talking about today, is getting things ironed out in either service agreements or contracts, and so, council agreed that that was a good idea. Chamber didn't have a problem with it, so we kind of backed it off for, I don't know, a month or so we could get things in the correct order. So that's just kind of an
Contract's
explanation as far as that. We wanted to make sure the contract was in place, the council funds it, and away we go. So,
Good.
So there's some reporting mechanisms in here
Exactly.
as requested.
Okay.
Originally, it was discussed at the council meeting to fund it through ARPA, but after further conversation, it was going to be more cumbersome to do all 3 or 4 steps that would require, and the funding's available in CEDAT. So
Okay.
that's how it arrived at this.
I'll second
position.
Josh's motion.
Okay, motion carries 3-0 to fund the,
I don't think I made the motion.
you'll make
I'll
a
make a
motion?
motion.
Okay,
Yeah,
I was
I thought
wondering,
you
I
did.
was thinking about that.
Yeah.
I made a lot of them.
Was that a
but I didn't-
setup?
I didn't remember that one.
So we do have a motion now for
Correct.
Josh.
Yeah, and I will second his first.
All right,
Thank you very much.
motion carries 3-0 on the
Train, or is that?
Next item is we have a conflict of interest from Christopher Love. Loose, okay, sorry, the writing's a little sloppy here for me to read. Who works at EMS but also owns Big Smoke Barbecue LLC and does some food catering. And so there's times where there could potentially be some catering, if I understand correctly, for EMS employees. So filing a conflict of interest with us
Okay.
that we need to approve for him to be able to do so. So I'll,
What's the young man say? I'll make a motion, we approve the uniform conflict of interest disclosure statement for Christopher Luce.
And I'll second that.
motion carries 3-0. You'll let him know, Stephen? Okay. Next item, we have a sign placement request from St. Mary's Knight of Columbus. If I remember, this is kind of an annual fish fry event
Fish
they
fry
have,
time,
yep.
yeah.
And so it's from February 12th to March 22nd, so a little over a month.
I'll make a motion, we approve the request for Knights of Columbus Fish Fry, annual fish fry.
Second.
All right, motion carries 3-0 on the St. Mary's St. Mary's Club request.
Pretz.
Oh, okay. This one was not on there. I'll bring it up. Brett Barton at Community Corrections, they've had some issues with parking for employees, and so he is wanting to purchase a spot from the city over there, kind of catty corner from his building. So this is the lease agreement, 1-year lease agreement, until the parking lot at the annex gets finalized, and then his employees can park there. So he has the money in his funds to pay for this. So entertain a motion to approve this parking lot lease for 1 year. It's $15 per month for the space.
He's got the money in his budget.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Motion
What he
to
wants to
approve.
do, yeah. Second. Only thing I'll add about parking is before I walked in here, I drove through the county's parking lot, employee parking lot, and there were 15 to 20 empty spaces. So if there's parking issues that are being exacerbated up here, obviously by the construction, we've got to get a handle on making
Yep.
sure people are parking in the parking lot.
Agree with that. Yep. That carries 3-0.
So I don't know if we need to send a note to
Might be a good idea.
department heads,
Yep.
elected officials that, we built that thing for a reason.
Might be a good idea.
Unless there's that many people sick, I don't know, it could be too, but.
I don't-
We actually have an extra parking spot in our downtown diner that we purchased.
Yeah.
It's not being used.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Shane.
It's in downtown.
Thanks.
Okay. All right, very good. All right, our next item is through a collaboration of the council, the auditor, and the commissioners, starting back in the summer, we worked to create a new position for the grant manager. And at the beginning of the year, we hired Kelly Moore as our grant manager, who is here. So I just wanted to introduce her to everybody, those watching on YouTube, give you a little bit of background, and then if she wants to say anything, she will have the opportunity to say anything. But she's been a resident of Clinton County for 35 years. She has a master's degree in human services and a bachelor's degree in psychology and sociology. She's worked in social services for the last 9 years and has worked for the county full-time for 2 years. One thing that she wanted me to mention that I think is important is with this position, we have a lot of grants throughout the county. This is not trying to take those away from those departments, but to enhance the working with them. And where the issue has come is a lot of it falls on the paperwork side with the auditor's office, which is kind of outside the realm of their responsibilities, but they've taken them on. So that's the premise of this position, is to handle more of the internal stuff, but also go look for new grants. And we've discussed that at our internally, as well as like, should we hire a consultant to look for grants to help out? But this kind of seemed like the right fit of just bringing on an employee that could do both sides of it, the internal side as well as externally going to look for new ones. So with that, I'll, Kelly, you better go to the podium.
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity. I've been in this position about a month and just been in the background doing a lot of research, a lot of networking, reaching out kind of all across the country to lots of different people who can kind of support us and as we build this program for all of you. So as Jordan said, I just want to be able to partner with each of you. I'll be reaching out to schedule a time just to come meet with you and kind of gather information. I want you guys to dream big. I want you to tell me if there's something you would love for your department that we just don't have the funds for, and let me do some looking and see how we can partner. I've already started doing a little bit with Stephen and trying to partner with other agencies in the county. So not taking anything over from anybody, just want to come in and support you guys, and feel free to reach out to me.
Question?
Are you available for the towns or just for Frankfurt?
Well,
I'll
well,
keep
it'd be Clinton
recruiting.
County, not Frankfurt, but
Not Frankfurt.
Yeah.
There could be that possibility.
Yeah.
I think we would entertain that.
Yeah.
We may have to let her get her feet under a little bit here initially. But
Absolutely. I had some conversations with a gentleman from the state yesterday about a lot of our smaller towns and different things that we can do. So definitely open. I think this position will probably morph as we figure out exactly what we need and where my skills can be best used. So
I agree with that. Ms. McGill, you're on the town council now, is that correct? That's what I thought.
I'm a newbie.
Aye. That's what we need.
I would foresee that opportunity could become available. So
Yeah, for sure.
We right now what she's doing is a lot of catching up and getting compliance, but then hopefully once she understands that, it'll evolve to a whole different level of going out and searching. And so that could, we'd be glad, I think, to start working with the towns a little better.
Even the clerk treasurer, who I think was known as the person that would look for grants for our town, that's a new person too. Except our town lawyer, he stayed for a while, but everybody's new, so we're kind of muddling through, you know. So
Yeah,
any help?
absolutely.
I think there'd be a lot of opportunity for things like recycling partnerships between Clinton County, and we already partner a little bit, but we could maybe enhance that with grants, and I think it's a great idea, Ms. McGill.
So Kelly's available. You're more than welcome to reach out to her, and I'm sure she could find a way to help. So, okay.
Okay.
Thanks,
you.
Kelly. Next up, department heads. And we've had some go. Any other department heads want an opportunity? Ed?
Morning,
Morning, Ed.
Morning.
Morning, Ed.
I just wanted to bring to you, since the morgue opened in 2021, in November of 2021, we have saved to date, right now, $50,400.
Nice.
And we're saving that because we're not transporting them out to another county. We're not using another county's facility. So I just wanted to report that to let you know that we've saved that amount.
That's awesome. That's gonna, I mean, the initial investment's gonna be recuperated pretty
Pretty
quick.
I'm going to say,
Getting close.
I don't want to say it, but maybe by the end of the year.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
so
Nice work.
I mean, the commissioners and the council were a big part.
Yep.
So thank you, guys.
Are you
And-
receiving other, are people coming to Clinton County? Like, I know we had
Actually-
talked about that a
Actually,
little bit.
Boone County, they're getting ready to build a new morgue. So Justin Sparks, which is the coroner there, has reached out to me to say, hey, if we need some space, is it available? I'm like, absolutely. So,
Good.
yeah. And also took on, I'm now the Indiana State Coroners Association president.
Oh,
Nice.
congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
I spent all day, yeah, I spent all day yesterday down at the legislative conference for AIC, so.
I mean, I think that's congratulations. I mean,
Yeah. You wanted that, it wasn't the short straw,
Yeah.
right? But hey, you know what would be a good idea, I think, is I'll connect you with Tammy so we can get an article out there and let everybody know about it. I think that's important. That's a great honor for you,
Sounds good.
so, yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
Any others? Remind me of that, please. To connect with.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Sheriff here. Hey, we've got another retiree coming up in our maintenance, and we had talked a little bit about it, and and it's an asset that's pretty difficult to replace. We have replaced one that had left just prior to 24 starting. So with that, I may even have a date. It's going to be probably the week of March 6th will be his last working time period. So I'd like to advertise it and possibly get that person in just a little bit early, because I got one with 2 weeks of experience to train
Yeah.
the next guy with zero experience, or next lady with zero experience in that maintenance position. So, I know it's happening fast, and once he figured out his date that he was going to go, it's the way that it is. So if there was a time where one of the commissioners could come by, stop in, sit down, because there are some service agreements that need to be looked at for the new equipment that's come in, the yearly stuff, and I don't want to jump into those without you guys, making a decision. And so I'd greatly appreciate that if one of you could come down and do that before Terry leaves office, because Terry can give you the insight of which way to go. And I can tell you what he's told me, but I don't see any sense in that. I think you guys need to, have that conversation with the maintenance people that are there. And that would be fantastic, because it gives you a greater idea of what truly is going to happen there. We've got some issues with the generator that need to be repaired. That's going to just be on general maintenance. But I think on the yearly stuff and moving into the 2 and 3 years where the contracts of the maintenance on HVAC and some other things, I think you guys need to put your mind in it, because, it's probably beyond where I'm going to be.
I can come Monday or Tuesday next week, either one.
We're there.
All right, I'll get a hold of you.
Yeah, just send a text or
It'll probably be
stop
in the
in.
morning.
Fantastic. That'd be great if we could do that quick.
Did
Thank
we
you.
advertise that internally? Or am I dreaming?
With the
That
first
that
one.
was, that was
okay.
the other position.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I guess, and we had talked about this a little bit after council, I think it's very wise to get someone in there that Terry can train, so they're not coming in
Blind.
Blind, yeah. So I support doing that. and hiring.
Fantastic. We have some jail vehicles that are going down. We have transmission issue with a K-9 truck, and electrical issues with one of the K-9 trucks for the jail. So I know we don't need to discuss it today, but on what was
talk about
approved for
it Monday.
2024, we can shave it down, we can do whatever, but there are a few vehicles that we need to replace. And I'd like to see that. There's some other funds that we can work with to get that done as well.
Okay.
So, and we'll get to that. We can maybe talk about that a little bit if you get in Monday or so.
All right.
Real quick on the maintenance thing, we talked to the auditor's office about this as well. Because Brian left us at the end of '23 for the maintenance position, Terry has agreed to be available in a part-time manner if the need arose where we would need his expertise to come in, because he is our HVAC guy for sure. So we've talked about creating a line, and we'll go to council with this, obviously, and utilizing, because we still have our part-time custodial line that's been off because she was, she had a major heart surgery. So using a combination of those funds from Brian's line that is now filled by Damian Keene, as well as Cynthia's line, creating an additional part-time to bring Terry back in if the need arose as well.
Job description.
It would be the same one as the maintenance line.
We'll just put in part.
Yeah, part-time, just do a part-time one, yeah.
And I know that we have some issues with ordinance versus budget, and I think I've talked with council and sent them some emails, so we'll get to that on some positions. We sent you some job descriptions as supervisor for the courthouse security, which we can get into that commission or the group that's going to speak about the security for the overall moving forward. So, we can cover that over the next few weeks, few months.
Okay. I did not see the job description for the security here.
Just sent it.
Okay.
Sent it this morning.
All right, okay.
So,
I haven't looked at my email.
I know we're going to get to it, so
Okay, perfect.
I'm not going to get in front of the corrections on some of the ordinance issue and the the salary ordinance as well as what was approved in the budget. We
Okay.
just got to get that corrected.
All right.
So, all right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Have a great
Thanks,
day.
Sheriff.
Jordan. Can I?
Oh, I'm go. You'll be next. You're on deck, so you can wait there. Britt's going from here. So, you're in the. You're
We're
in the box.
talking about positions, and the auditor and treasurer have been talking. We are wanting to combine, and this is what is going to be in front of you. We've combined 2 positions, one from my office and one from Gina's office. And we're wanting to propose sharing an employee. Gina's having a hard time finding someone who can come in part-time and sporadic. Sometimes she needs someone for lunch. Sometimes she needs someone for conference. And her biggest need is when they collect property taxes. I think that I would be fine to share one of my employees with her. She can pay for the time they're in her office, and I'll pay for the time they're in my office. and we'll just pool our resources.
Okay. I have to ask, I assume this was all the job description. You've worked with HR.
I have.
All right.
So these are a combination of two job descriptions that
Okay.
have already been approved.
Okay.
They just meshed them together.
Gotcha.
And I apologize for not getting them to you sooner.
Well, you have anything you want to add, Gina?
No, I just, like I said, a lot of the stuff has been more efficient in our office, so there's just a short period of window when we need that extra push of extra help. And it's hard to find somebody that just wants to come in and work for 3 weeks in,
Yeah.
3 or 4 weeks in the spring and 2 or 3 weeks in the fall and occasional vacation time here or there.
Okay.
So I think this would be a solution for both of our offices to cover our needs that we need.
Okay, good. I think it's a good idea. Pool the resources and part of this was because you had a position that had a little more downtime because
Yes.
your offense has become more efficient as well.
Yes.
And so now this is kind of utilizing the full time, so they're occupied in 2 different offices. So I guess we can either accept this job description as is and move forward with it, or if you want to read over it and take it under consideration, we can come back on the 20th. So I'll open it up to.
Is the 20th quick enough for everybody?
We're really kind of in a time crunch because fall or spring collection's kind of gonna squeeze.
Okay. Well, I'll just sit here and read this and you guys can wait.
I mean, like, that's fine. Basically, what we did is I had like a seasonal part-time position and Britt's position, and we pretty much just mashed them together.
Mhm.
And since we use the same tax software, it'll be just one. I mean, the person that'll get trained uses the same.
Yes.
So I might understand then that both of you are in agreements with this and the job description?
Yes.
Yeah. And HR has also helped?
Yes.
I'll make the motion that we allow this to move forward in a part-time, put it together.
It's one full-time
One
position.
full-time position, yeah.
Yep,
Share, I mean, basically
Yeah.
just sharing an employee.
I agree.
It'll probably work more in Britt's office, but
Whichever.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make that motion that we move forward with that position.
Okay. Have a motion. You want to no, abstain, yes?
Still reading.
Okay. I'll let you. I'll give him a second to finish reading.
Okay. Thank you for waiting. I'll second it.
All right. Motion carries 3-0 to approve the deputy position for both the auditor and treasurer, which will eliminate the part-time position and the full-time position and create the new position.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Next up. You can just have it.
2 things. The Motorola quote for the radio for the chase vehicle, $5,004.62 for the equipment. There will be about a $200 fee for the installation of it as well. I emailed you guys about this and sent that quote. Since it's over the $5,000, I just want to ask for permission to move forward with the purchase.
I'm good with it. Yep.
I'm good with it. I'll make the motion that we move forward with the purchase of the radio for the chase vehicle.
Okay.
I mean, you gotta have it.
Yeah. 3-0.
Okay. Thank you.
Do I need to sign it? Probably.
It's just a quote.
Oh,
It doesn't
okay.
even. It,
All right.
Yeah. So, and then I want to just plant a seed. So currently our billing company is Acumed. I'm gonna be honest. I'm getting a bit frustrated with them. So started to kind of explore the alternative options, and we actually found another company that I think would be a much better fit. So currently Acumed charges 6%. This other company would charge 5%. So right there we would save well over $10,000 just by making the switch alone. But also Acumed will not. To explain our billing process, when we transport a patient to the hospital, we get a face sheet, and it's got their information and their billing information on that sheet. A lot of times, especially like motor vehicle accidents, we don't have any of that information when we drop the patient off at the hospital. They just put the name, date of birth, and that's all we get. So we are oftentimes following up, trying to track down that additional information. Acumed will not do that at all. This other company will. And so that would take quite the burden off of our plate. We would just submit the information, and then they would run with it and try and track it down. I also found out last week we were supposed to be billing for specialty care transport for our interfacility transfers, and I found out that in 2023 they only billed for that 6 times, which is incredibly disappointing, and I'm waiting to hear back from Acumed. That's kind of the name of the game right now, is we wait to hear back from Acumed.
How many did you have?
Oh, I would have to audit every single chart from 2023, but I'll tell you right now, north of 100.
Okay.
At least. So specialty care transport, we qualify for that anytime we transport an IV pump, anytime we use capnography, any intubated patient, and they're not reimbursing us or billing for that rate. I don't know why. So we were supposed to be moving forward with that in 2023, and everything numbers-wise was looking good. We brought in more revenue than we ever had last year. But we still weren't billing for that, so I'm going to try and get to the bottom of that. And I don't know what Acumed's answer is going to be, but we've had a lot of fluctuations month to month on our revenue generation from them. The answer they gave us initially was, this won't happen again. That's never promising. So I want to just plant the seed. I'm still working on getting additional quotes to present and everything. And Tom, I want to drop off the contract with you so you can review it and see if we have an out this year. But we asked for the contract from them last week and they never sent it. So we ended up finding one from 2017. But yeah, I just want to plant that seed, and if you guys have any ideas or feel strongly one way or the other, ultimately I want to make sure we're cutting costs for the county, as well as optimizing our reimbursement rates from insurance companies, and I don't think Acumed's doing that for us.
Who is the other company?
It's MedBill.
Are they based in Indiana?
Great
I know
question.
Acumed's out of Michigan. There is an Indiana company.
Okay. Would you prefer me to try and track down the Indiana one?
I'll get you their contact information so you can talk to them. I don't have a preference one way or the other. All I'll say about Acumed is, even though I know you're frustrated with them, prior to when we started using Acumed back in, I think it was 17, we were doing it in-house, and our collection rates went through the roof once we started using them. So I agree there's always room for improvement, and I think a lot of the times with them it's coding, what the doctor writes on the sheet,
what we write in our chart.
Right.
Yeah.
And they are just like anybody else. They have a lot of turnover in those coding positions. So
yeah,
it's been a source of frustration for a long time. So I'm perfectly fine with looking for somebody else. I just want to point out it hasn't been all bad.
Understood.
Yep.
I will say, I called multiple different agencies, and multiple had said they went from actually Acumed to MedBill, and were very, very pleased with the results. I'll use Jackson Township from Hamilton County as an example, and they said they saw a significant increase in their reimbursements after they made the switch. So,
just bring us options.
Bring in options.
The first thing we have to figure out is if
can we get out of it this year?
Get out, or what that looks like. So,
sounds great.
About that, you might want to find that out first, because
I got the contract with Tom. So
a lot of legwork to then find out we can't sell.
We'll sit on it for a year if we have to.
Have to consider it. So
I don't think they'll put up a fight.
Acumed?
Yeah.
Maybe not.
They don't like billing transfers, if I remember.
Oh. Well.
That was always my point of disagreement with them, is that they acted like they didn't care about transfers, so which was crazy because that's a huge part of our revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have been for them too, but I don't think they'll put up a fight, but who knows?
Okay. That's all I have. Do you guys have anything for me?
Nope. Be safe, man.
Thanks.
Any others? Grace?
I guess I'll be the closer here. I'm the archivist. And what I wanted to do was thank you guys for supporting preservation. I was able to get, I think, 6 or 7 books recovered already in January. And I should get another kind of makeshift humidifier going. I've kind of my office is stuffed, but I've found a space. And this helps papers that have been folded for a long time. You put them in the humidifier, it reinvigorates them with moisture rather than, crushing them out and putting books on them and everything else, which crushes the fiber, and then you start having problems with the paper itself. So I should be able to get that going. And I just wanted to put out there that if any department has problems with paper, old paper, that type of thing, get hold of me and I may be able to help you figure out, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Or if you have old documents that you don't want to throw out and you still want to keep them, let me know, because then I will take care of them. I mean, that's what I'm here for. So just put that out there. But thank you again for supporting preservation. And next year when we move over, I hope, to our new digs, maybe we'll have a bigger space and I can do more too. Okay. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Grace.
All right, any others? Nope, seeing none. We'll move on to commissioner reports. Open it up to you gentlemen. Do you have anything to report?
Just to let you know, last week, Rick and I went out and spent some time with the solar people, kind of giving them a heads up as to which roads they're going to help us repair and which ones they really aren't able to at this point in time. And we wanted to get with them and make sure that they're thinking about fixing some of these roads and stuff. And then there's some water issues, et cetera. So we kind of opened the door and let them know that we're going to be expecting them to do so. And as normal, it was, take it under advisement. They're going to call management and get started. But there's one or two roads we won't be able to do until they're done with the other half. But in the meantime, there are those that could be repaired. And they were, I would say, they were okay with starting at this point. So it was okay.
Okay. Yeah. Commissioner Ewitz, anything?
Oh, I thought somebody said something. I do have something, yeah. I am going to send you both and Tom shortly, hopefully later today, a ordinance for the creation of a county cemetery commission. So just keep in mind that's coming. I'll attach some cemetery law and the IC codes that allow for the establishment of that, and and believe it or not, there's like 82 cemeteries in Clinton County, and I think I counted up roughly 30 to 35 of them are currently not being taken care of, so or have been forgotten about. So this is be for the preservation and restoration of whatever stones are there, markers of any kind, and cleaning up these pioneer and Civil War cemeteries. So anyway, that's coming your way, and like I said, I'll attach all kinds of information about how these commissions operate. And so,
okay,
that's all I got.
Very good. I got a couple things.
Commissioner Ewitz, real quick.
Huh?
We'd love to be a part of that. I know I got people that are inside the facility that would love to provide some labor in those
Okay.
maintenance and preservation.
Great.
So, and then the inmates have asked us before.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So thank you.
Yep.
All right, I have a couple items here as well. First one, I'll piggyback off of Bert's. So the Hardy Hills Solar Farm, part of it went live at the end of December. There's a portion of it that will be live by the end of spring. So we have had communication. We'll receive our EDA payment off of that by April 27th. That's $473,000 a year. That'll be for 10 years. The total investment of the project ended up being closer to about $305 million. Originally, it was scheduled to be around 200 to 250, I think. So I just wanted to report that because we will be receiving some funds for the first 10 years as the EDA payment. Then it gets on the tax roll after year 10 and in year 11. So a little bit of background there. The next item is in our special meeting last week. We selected a new insurance provider for the county. I'll kind of just run through it for those, so we kind of update people. We were put in a tough situation when our previous provider, this is for liability, work comp and such, decided to leave the marketplace altogether, not just Clinton County, but municipalities around the state. And usually they give 120-day notice. They gave us 60-day notice through Christmas, through New Year. So a lot of work that our broker, Todd Jackson and McGowan, had to do, and appreciate all the department heads and people behind the scenes that got him information so we could get this. But we ended up getting 2 quotes. So there's this marketplace has shrunk significantly over the last 10 years. It used to have 20, 30 providers. Now it's down to about 12.
Nationwide.
Yeah, nationwide. Roughly, I think 8 of them just declined to even look at our county for insurance. And so up until the last day, which ours expired on February 1st, and we had our meeting that morning to not have a lapse in coverage, we only had one option, and we got one the night before on the 31st. So we ended up going with Great American and Hamilton, and then we continue to use IPEP for our workers' comp. And so that total insurance cost is up about 15% to $636,457. And that did increase our coverage a little bit over $9 million for property coverage. The new company came in and said that we were underinsured in some buildings and such, so that has an increase in coverage level, but it does have more liability with it in terms of cost. But the silver lining is we have budgeted enough for this year, so we don't have to go ask for an additional from council, so that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Yep. So just wanted to give an update on that, so everyone knew and we were transparent on what was going on. And then the last thing, and my Rossville people don't get too upset at me here, I just want to give a shout out to the Clinton Central girls basketball program. Unfortunately, they beat Rossville, but they won the sectional over the weekend, playing for the regional this weekend, going for the 3rd one in school history, and they're 23-1 on the season. Have a really good team, so hopefully those that are watching and seeing them will go support our local team that's playing at the next level. So
Saturday, I believe.
Yep.
Just a little south of Fort Wayne.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Belmont. Yep.
Yeah.
It's at Belmont. A little far away, but we wish them luck, and hopefully they can get that 3rd regional title. So that I'll move to our claims. So we have claims from January 19th in the amount of $8,656.90. Claims from January 26th in the amount of $45,538.72. Claims from February 2nd in the amount of $31,495.06. Biweekly claims from February 7th in the amount of $397,999.56. Court claims from February 7th in $24,037.72, and a surplus on the 7th as well for $15,311.55.
Make a motion to approve claims.
Second.
All right, motion carries 3-0 to approve the claims. Next item, we have payroll from January 12th in the amount of $532,974.84.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion carries 3-0 to approve payroll. For minutes, we have our regular minutes from January 16th.
Motion to approve minutes.
Sorry.
Motion,
Sorry,
second,
get right
I'll
in there.
abstain from that one, I wasn't
Don't
here.
hold back.
And then we have special meeting minutes from February 1st.
I wasn't here, so.
Josh wasn't here, so,
Motion to approve a special meeting.
okay. Motion and a second by me. Is there any other business that needs to come before the commissioners today? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
25.
Third.
Yeah.
Michael Moore and Forrest.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Michael
The-
Moore and Forrest, where you guys are gonna vote on the
next week.
next month.